Defending against ransomware. One of the more common questions that we get is about ransomware attacks, how they happen, what's involved, and what can be done to protect assets against such an attack. So in this video, we're going to have a look at an illustration that shows a common method in 5 simplified steps used by ransomware attackers to infiltrate an organization's infrastructure and ultimately hold its valuable data to ransom. So you can see this is from the perspective of an attacker who you can see there in the middle. Now the MO of this attacker involves actions both on the surface web, which you can see there on the right, i.e. the internet that we're all familiar with. This is where we Google, conduct our daily social media activities, and of course in many cases a lot of our business activities too. And you can see the infrastructure of the target business on that side also. Now over on the left you can see the dark web, sometimes referred to as dark net, and this side represents the encrypted online content that's not indexed by conventional search engines like Google or Firefox, for example. The dark web is a part of the deep web, which just refers to websites that don't appear on search engines. Most deep web content consists of private files hosted on Dropbox or one of their competitors, or subscriber-only databases, rather than anything illegal. However, specific browsers like Tor, that you can see there on the left, are required to reach the dark web. So if we look at each of the stages of the attack, starting with number 1, this is where the attack starts and where the attacker will conduct their recon and pre-deployment attacks. They'll then move on to data exfiltration and essentially steal company assets to hold to ransom, and then in stage 3 they'll deploy and trigger the ransomware used to encrypt the files and data on the drives and computer systems within the infrastructure, which effectively renders it all unreadable and useless. This is the point at which the victim users will see the classic skull and crossbones message saying, "You've been pwned, you must pay X amount of crypto or you'll lose your assets and the use of your systems." Now the attacker has the target exactly where they want them. They can now anonymously publish what they've stolen on the dark web or even sell it to the highest bidder. So what can you do to protect you and your organization against ransomware? Well, there's several steps you can take to protect yourself. You can back up the data regularly and store the backups in a secure location. This will allow you to recover your data if it's encrypted by ransomware. It's also good practice to keep more than one copy so that you've got a backup maybe on site and you've also got one off site. So in the event that there's a natural disaster like a fire or flood, you've still got that extra backup off-site that you can rely on. You can also keep your software and operating systems up to date with the latest patches and security updates, and these updates often include fixes for vulnerabilities that could be exploited by ransomware. Use antivirus and anti-malware software to protect your systems from ransomware and other threats. Train your employees to recognize phishing emails and other types of social engineering attacks which are often used to deliver ransomware. Consider using firewalls to block access to known malicious websites and IP addresses. Enable two-factor authentication for all accounts and devices that access sensitive data. It's also a good idea to limit access to sensitive data to only those users who need it in the organization. By following these best practices, you can really help to protect your business against ransomware and other cyber threats. That's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one.